to Today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and we've got a jam-packed show today to make up for a little holiday last week, so I'm so excited. We have, of course, Mayor Scott Galvin, and we've got a bunch of city businesses we're going to catch up on. We've got our city councilor from Ward 3, Jeff Dillon, who's with us, and we're going to talk about a new art program. So we've got a couple guests who've come on to tell us about that. So lots and lots of goodness for us to dig into. Thanks for joining me again, Scott, as always.
Thank you for having me.
So we got some really good, what I think is good news, about federal grants for the school budget to help us with some new programming and things, or I shouldn't say new programming. I think what I heard was that it was some new programming. It might help with some staff augmentation. I thought it would just give you a chance to comment anything you wanted to add about those federal grants and how that might be helping us out.
Yeah, so the money was they call it opera money. I'm giving the acronym. That's we've actually had three different sources of federal funding under the stimulus and under the COVID funds. The first one was like $600,000. That was called ESSER 1, okay. And they used that to supplement the FY21 budget. That's the budget we're just finishing up. Midstream, you'll remember Trump's package that came through had about 1.9 million in it. Mm-hmm. And the schools have used some of that. We've used some of our CARES money to supplement different programs that they've been able to do this year that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. They have many more teachers they had to hire. So they use some of the ESSER funds for that 1.9. They use some of that 1.9 for that. They have a good amount left over, which they're going to be using some in FY22. And then they also picked up $4 million under President Biden's relief package. And they can use that for the next two budgets. So they're going to use some of it this year and then some of it the following year. And as you had mentioned, they're doing some curriculum overhauls, which are overdue. They're adding some more staff. And then, we have our budget supplementation, which we're working on that now. So there's some final numbers that I know they're meeting, but I'm trying to work out a few more issues with Matt Crowley about the city's kick in and what we're going to do. But the federal money will allow them to substantially put money into that budget or to supplement what we would generally give them. Will allow them to supplement. Then we have to be very careful about how they use that, because that money's going to go away, and you don't want to be creating things that didn't require us to fill it in above and beyond which we'd be able to afford. So that curriculum overhaul is a big, kind of like a one-time fee. So they're won't be recurring. But there are some other asks, they call them the school department asks, that will include new positions that, when the funding runs out, the city's going to have to step in. We'll make a decision and the school department make a decision if those positions are worth carrying forward, and if we have the available funding to do it. So it's exciting. It's exciting for them to do, but again, there's a lot of responsibility that goes into using that much money too, using it wisely. That's what they're trying to do.
It's a nice opportunity for us to do some things that we've been wanting to do for a long time. So I'm thrilled that we have the opportunity to do that. Since we're talking about budgeting, I don't actually know very much about overall city budgeting and how. I know that each department puts together a plan and they present it, and then you put together a budget that goes in front of city council. And that is sort of the sum total of my knowledge, Scott. Yeah. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what's going on across the city right now, just so folks who are like me who don't have a good understanding of it.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Right now we're working on, and we're having, I'd say a little bit of a difficult time because of, we still have a big drop in local funding, our own funds that we rely on to fill the budget. So we're looking at what type of, funding from the federal government we can use to actually fill those gaps. But the way the budget works is, I meet with each department head. They give me, what they'd like to do, and we generally say level fund if you have something that you think is important that'll either save the city money or you absolutely need that ask, then we'll consider it. So at this point we're doing that. We're in a contract year, so we're going to have to be factoring in raises and what we can do for that. And again, it's very uncertain. This is the most difficult budget actually that I've dealt with in my 12 years, the most difficult budget. So we're working on that. We've got a number of different budgetary items that have gone up out of our control, like pensions, health insurance. Gasoline is going up significantly this year from what and you can see it at the pump. I think we're up to $2.90 a gallon, and we see the same thing. So the process is we put the budget together. Half of it, 70 million, is schools. The other half is city side. So we'll put that together, give it to the city council. They hold their hearings from May 15th to about June 15th. They'll either approve what I send them or cut what I send them.
You mean they never add more?
The only place they can add is to the school department.
Okay.
But everything else, they can't add anything. They can only add to the school department. And there are some guidelines about what has to happen before they can do that.
Okay.
And it hasn't happened since since I was on the city council for quite some time. I've never seen city council add to the school's budget. So it's an exciting time. But like I said, this is the most difficult that I think I've faced anyway, because of the uncertainty of where our revenues are coming from. Where the schools got the direct funding from ESSER, which is great, from the government. But again, it would have been nicer if we got it. So we got funding too, but I would have liked to get the school so we could have had a little bit more control over it. But they're doing a good job too.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And thank you for updating us on that process. I think it's important for all of us to understand. Last time we connected about the library, we were waiting for some of the legislation to push forward, and you're on a search for a director that you'll be hiring and such. We are in budget season. I know that city money handles through budget. There is some trust money that I assume gets handled in a different time frame.
Yeah,
they happen in parallel. For
the most part, that we fund their entire budget. There are some supplementary things that the trust funds are used for, but not significant, and not. I don't even want to say it's really not material that would affect their budget. So they primarily rely on us. And then if there are some additional items that they want to fill, like I talked to you about the grounds, if they want to do some work out there, then they would tap some trust funds. But
okay, perfect. And we're coming up in May. Do you anticipate still starting to post those open trustee positions, or has there been any change in legislation?
There hasn't been any change on the legislation, so I haven't done anything with it yet. And I talked to Rich Haggerty, and he says he still hasn't got it moving forward. It's got a case number and all that stuff, but we haven't heard any other progress. So we're kind of waiting a little bit more from that.
Okay, thanks for keeping us
posted. The interim director's he's been doing interviews for the past 2 weeks for some significant, important positions over there. So we'll see.
Great. Glad to hear it. Mm-hmm. We had an unfortunate, serious home invasion a couple of weeks ago, maybe almost a month ago now. In North Woburn, and we had an injury. I just thought I would check in. A lot of folks were, whenever we don't have a lot of that happen around here. So when something like that happens, I think understandably unsettles the community. And just thought I would check in to see if we have any updates in terms of police investigation or anything that we can share.
Yeah, it's an ongoing investigation, and the police have been very responsive to this. I don't, unfortunately, the alleged victim hasn't been as cooperative with the police for a number of reasons, but the police have reached out to him a number of times. They were supposed to have a meeting. He was unavailable. He has since moved out of the state across country. So it's still an active investigation. The police have been trying to get in touch with him or the victim to discuss what's happening. But again, they've had very little luck in getting.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know that. I certainly.
It's a serious situation. We're just, the police have been working diligently, as they always do, and working to get to the bottom of it. But then, like I said, they're not getting as much cooperation from the alleged victim as they need to keep moving forward. Okay. But it is active.
Good. And certainly, if anybody knows anything, they should go to the police.
Certainly call the police. Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. On a more positive note, I heard we had a fantastic shred day,
Great, yeah.
and on Saturday, and I think Jeff, you might have been there, and I know I saw lots of other folks who brought
Yeah,
stuff
we had a good crew. Jeff's been there. He was there last year with me too, and Paul and Laurie Medeiros were there, and they're the ones who started the shred event, and we've taken over, but they've been great. Rod Flynn, who I think he's with Ren. The guy he's tireless, and he does so much for the community. He's one of our local treasures. Tom Fuller, another active volunteer, was there as well, and Jeff's nephew Jack helped us. And I don't think I'm missing anybody, but if I do,
we'll get them next time. They'll
we'll
let
get
me
them next
know.
time. But
right?
they were there. They were there helping, and it was
Right.
beautiful weather, great day, and we had. I think it was one of the biggest ones we've ever had, but it was a good day.
Well, that's great. I think everybody's sitting around their homes these days more than usual. We're anxious to spring clean in whole new ways this year. So thank you for that update. Any news in COVID testing or anything that we should be aware of? I think the high school is now full in school.
High school and middle school are back full time, so we're looking at that. We're encouraging people that if they want to get testing, we're doing it every Friday at the high school. We moved a sign up there so people will know, and again, spread the word if they want testing. It is free, 2 to 5. We encourage people to pre-register. It helps us to know the numbers, and that information is on our website. So the testing is a great option for people, particularly students who are back to school, and teachers and parents and city employees and everybody else. We did have our numbers went down on the positivity, which was good, and slightly on the case numbers. So that's heading in the right direction. It's, we've been kind of in that 3.3 positivity rate, 26 cases per 1,000. Good news on people getting vaccinated. We've got over 50% have received at least one. We're over 31% fully vaccinated. That's good, but we want people to get out and get vaccinated. It's important. It's important for the community. It's important for the state and for everybody to get back to normal. So I encourage everybody who hasn't to get out and get vaccinated. It's easier now than ever. There's more locations. So get out and get vaccinated for the community.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I've been seeing it. So I have adult children, as you know, and they qualified, and I was able to get appointments nearby. You had to, have to go on it, and be persistent and check a few times, but we were able to find things pretty locally, which was great, and I greatly appreciate it.
My son got his pretty easily, but over the weekend he got his done. I got my second shot for at one of the local CVSs, so I'll be good in May, and it's all good. So again, I just want to encourage everybody, if you haven't, get online, get registered, and do what you can for the community so we can get back to where we want to be.
I love it. And I think I believe, and I hope I'm not wrong about this information, anyone who does have an adverse reaction and has to take off work, that is paid leave according to federal law, I believe. So
that is, and one of the things that they exempted municipalities, but everybody else, they've done it at the state level. That was the law they passed at the state level. So. Yeah, but we're liberal on our end with city employees. If something happens in that respect, particularly if they're getting vaccinated, we're encouraging all our employees. It's important.
Yeah. That's great. We won't talk about it in detail now, but we are going to have a little Memorial Day recognition coming up. So in a week or so, Scott and I will talk some more about that. But I know folks are always interested, and we'll definitely.
Yeah, maybe we could have George Poole and Larry Giuseppe on. They could talk about it. They'll let everybody know what the activities are for the week.
That sounds great. We'll do that. Thanks for joining, Scott. Really appreciate it.
Good to talk to you, Samantha.
Yeah, excellent. Now I'd like to welcome Jeff Dillon, our city councilor for Ward 3, and my city councilor. I'm in Ward 3. Welcome, Jeff.
Yes. How are you, Samantha? I just want to thank you for using this platform to get the information out. That our residents really appreciate that, and thank Woburn Public Media as well.
Yeah, I'm so glad, thank you for always being available. And Jeff is like super sly. So right before he dropped off a flyer at my front door for me, we'll talk about it. We actually have something that we've been talking about for a long time. It feels like progress. I'm super excited. Hurld Park, for those who are newer to the community, is a elementary school that's no longer in use as an elementary school. And we have always said that that was going to be a community outdoor space of some kind. And it sounds like we might be at the point now, Jeff, where we're able to start making plans. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Sure, this is really happening really quick, thanks to Mayor Galvin, Jay Corey at the Engineers Department, and Roy Lindstrom at the Recreation Department have been working at this. And what we're hoping to do is take the school down and use the land as it's set up, most of it now in its natural state. We all hear, particularly city council hears, whenever there's a new development, the wildlife. So we're really trying to gear in on keeping this portion of the land in its natural state. And it's a good sized lot, portion of land. It's 12 and a half acres approximately, which the school maybe takes a quarter of that. And the rest is wetlands, a brook, and fields. Very familiar with the land. I'll tell you how old I am. I used to catch brook trout in the stream when I was a little kid. So I'm still in the same neighborhood. The brook trout are gone now, though. But we're hoping again to get the neighbors out there, get the abutters out there, get all the citizens of Woburn that are interested in it, and make this a very inclusive research and see just what everybody wants. We actually have a day picked out. It is Saturday, May 15th, and that's between 10 and 12, and that's going to be right on the site. And we encourage people to bring comfortable clothing because we'll take a little walking tour and show them around. And again, the structure itself will be coming down and show them where maybe some wetlands will be added. We also are working with the Mystic River Watershed Association. So I'll thank Catherine Piedemonte as well. She's looking at the site with us, perhaps to, again, keep it in its natural state and make some stormwater retention areas and pools and such. Therefore, if we do that, there's quite a bit of grant money out there. So not only are we doing a good thing for Mother Nature here, we may be able to capitalize on some grant money, which really will help the case. One of the ideas that's actually out there is a small children's park as well. Nothing really elaborate, just a place where maybe somebody after walking the paths with their young kids can let the kids play for such a location right on site. And I've already been reached out from Carmen LaCasey, who runs an organization called Justin's Voice for his son. Carmen and Marie LaCasey have a great organization to help people who have addiction problems. And unfortunately, they lost their son a number of years ago, who grew up in the neighborhood, actually was a very good friend of my son's. And that'd be a really touching tribute if we can do something with them for a little park for the kids. So I already reached out to the to the Disability Commission, and talked to them about being very involved in this. We want this to be inclusive. We want to make sure we don't miss any aspect on any of the things that should be done and that people are really interested in. We have some neighbors there that have been there for generations. So we're kind of in a situation, we need to take care of the abutters and make sure they're happy. And we also want to make it something for the good of the whole city of Woburn.
Well, I love it, and we'll make sure that all this information gets on the screen. But so you mentioned the open house. There's also a survey that Woburn Rec put out there. So if you have interest in it, I would definitely encourage you to fill it out. And honestly, the survey made me realize how much open space there already is there. I actually didn't even
Absolutely.
realize. I've never really walked behind the school or anything. And then you've also got a June 2nd Zoom time as well. So for those folks who either don't feel comfortable coming in person, even in an outdoor environment, or not able to, there's another community opportunity to voice their interests and concerns.
Yes. And again, it's very easy to get this information. What I did is Googled Woburn Recreation, pops right up, and then right to the right of the page, it's Hurld Visions. Click on that. You'll have all the information for the meetings, and the survey is there as well. So it's really exciting. Just a great opportunity for us to do something with a site right now that's sitting there, and for lack of a better term, couldn't use a lot of improvement. But again, in the beginning stages, so this is the opportunity for neighbors, abutters, citizens of Woburn, come out, get your voice heard. The one thing we are asking on the open house at the site is to pre-register, just because of the COVID situation, and it's very easy to do. But again, we want everyone out there, get your opinions. No silly questions. The only silly question is the one you don't ask. So now's your opportunity.
I love it, Jeff. Thank you so much for giving us that update. This is a tremendous opportunity. We talk a lot about space and wildlife in our city with all of the development, and this is one thing that's sort of on the other end of that spectrum. This isn't going to happen overnight, but there's tremendous progress being made just building a plan. So really appreciate you helping drive that forward with Rory and all the other folks in the engineering team and elsewhere who are involved in helping us put in grants and proposals and design plans, and even the commission to help with disabled and handicapped citizens, making sure that they have appropriate access to everything as well.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for being the voice of Woburn and getting the word out there. I know everyone in the community appreciates it, as I do.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I'm so glad you were able to join me today. And next, we're going to transition and we're going to talk about art, which is just, when spring comes and the days get longer, and it's just such a great time to be outside anytime. But, after a year of being cooped up and inside and feeling sometimes disconnected, what a wonderful opportunity to get back out there. So Marissa, Jean, and Alex are here to join us to talk about a free program that's being run in Hurld Park at Hurld Pond, one of our favorite places. So welcome, ladies.
Hey there. Thanks for having us, Samantha. It's great to meet you.
I'm so glad that you're here. Marissa, is it Marissa or Marissa Jean? How do you prefer that I refer to you?
Oh, Marissa's just fine.
Marissa, thank you. I always like to check. So Marissa, you had your children in a program, and there was an opportunity to nominate your city. So tell us a little bit about the application process you did and what you've been able to help us arrange.
Sure, absolutely. I can't even tell you how we found Miss Alex. It was purely by accident, but it has been fantastic for our kids. I think art is so crucial for children's development in general. And then in a time of pandemic, kids really need a place, an outlet to vent that stress and just relax and enjoy themselves. And that has been everything that Miss Alex has been able to give our kids.
Mommy.
And
Mommy.
Have her come say hi. Hi, Mom is talking about your craft program.
Hi, Miss Alex.
See, we have a true fan. I love it.
Girl.
Miss
awesome.
Alex, she just brought out the markers, the paper, the glue.
I love it.
So Miss Alex posted about doing these pop-up chalk events, and I thought, what a great thing to bring to our community and to get other families involved who might not know about this opportunity. And I just thought it'd be such a great way to connect.
We have a hiking route.
Two of our favorite worlds, more because we're involving our community,
Mommy,
Hurld Pond, and art. So it really was a great way for all of us to combine all of those things together.
I love it. And Marissa's just showing us why we need to get outside, like in the afternoons, right? I love it. This is just how our lives are. So that's wonderful. Alex, tell us a little bit about what will be happening and when. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about the program that you're running, because I'm really intrigued with what you do on an ongoing basis as well.
Yes. So the day that it snows, do we all remember that ridiculous day a few weeks ago when we were like, I thought it was spring? So I'm sitting in pajamas because I wasn't getting ready to go outside. And I thought, how can we look forward to spring when there's snow outside? And I started to think about things that really bring the community together during the spring season. And community murals and trips to the playgrounds and parks they really hype me up. And I was a teacher for many years and know that blacktops and sidewalk chalk are cheap and crucial. So I decided that instead of sulking about the snow, what I would do is I would generate some buzz. I would get everybody who's also sitting in pajamas, avoiding the snow outside, to look forward to something. So on social media, I posted a bring me the name of your town. As long as it's in Massachusetts, I will submit it for a raffle. I will spin a wheel and I will choose 5 different towns to do a chalk pop-up in. Just tell me where you live and what your absolute favorite park is. And Marissa, who has been a incredible friend and parent and just general, person in need of childcare during this crazy pandemic time, she had said, hey, we love our park. We would love for you to be a part of this. And guess what? She was one of my raffle winners.
I love it. Well, I don't know how much time you spent in Horn Pond and Lions Park, but it is a beautiful area, and I'm so glad that you're going to be coming to our community. Tell us what families can expect. I think chalk in my very poor stick figure skills, and I think it will be less than impressive, but a lot of fun if I were to do anything. Tell us about what families should expect who want to come out and take part in this bringing some art to life.
Absolutely. So not to brag, but I did do chalkboard art for many businesses around Boston for many years. So lettering is a huge part of what I love to create. And I will say, even though I'm a pretty tiny person, I'm under 5 foot, I can make really big letters. So even if there's folks who feel maybe self-conscious grabbing a piece of chalk and doodling, I usually try to create some really inspirational messages on a blacktop that folks can just come on into and literally, color inside, maybe create some sort of fun pattern, or just find a way to interact with somebody new. There's nothing more exciting than being able to pick up somebody's lineage with a piece of chalk. Somebody might start a line over there and you might fill it in over here. And it becomes this really great, intersecting moment of new people and possibilities. So I think they can expect cute graphics, some great inspo quotes. Maybe I'll make a little word search. That might be a really fun endeavor to do. I might get there a little bit beforehand and, just throw a few things down so folks know exactly what to get excited for and how to insert themselves. But it's all about inclusion and just bringing a little bit more joy to
I love it. When the pandemic first started last spring, I remember we were really all in lockdown. I saw somebody else do this. It's not my idea, but I loved it and drew a little little path along the sidewalk so anybody who was out taking a walk could skip and jump and follow the line and do that. And every couple of days I'd go out and somebody will have added a little something, and it was just so fun to see what folks were adding to it, and it's super sweet. So this is like that on a huge scale, which I absolutely love. Now, we talked about families, which was sort of Marissa's inspiration, but it doesn't sound like this is something really that only if you got a kid in tow, you can come along. Is generally speaking the community open, or is this designed mostly for families with small children?
This is for all of the people. This is such a great way to do so many different things. This can be great for young activists who peacefully want to say something that they're feeling in a place that other people will be able to see. This can be a great place for somebody who loves to sketch on their notebook cover while they drink their cup of coffee in the morning, can come and maybe put some of those figures to life. It's a free spot to have your visual voice, right? And it's a great place to just kick back and do something a little bit different. So I would say that although kids are usually the first ones to grab the chalk and get going, it feels really cathartic, even if you're a grown-up or just a passerby coming and being a part of this. And I promise to bring a ton of chalk so nobody should leave without a little bit of residue on their
A
hands.
little dusty. We should all be a little dusty that day. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us what day this is happening.
Yeah, so this is going to happen on Thursday, May 27th. It's going to happen in the morning. So you might have to play a little hooky or take lunch a little bit early. But it'll be happening from 10 a.m. until noon. I might hang around a little bit before, a little bit after. I'm a very extroverted person. I love to be in person, and I've been doing virtual programming for about 13 months straight. So this is actually my first time back out into the world. So I'm very excited to safely connect to a new community.
Well, I love it. And I don't want to suggest this if you don't want me to, but I'm a loudmouth, so I'm going to say it anyways, and you can tell me to why did you say that. So that is school time. So a lot of people who might want to participate, with their families will not be able to. I'm assuming they can come by after school and add to it, right? This is kind of a living thing until it rains and washes away, right?
Absolutely. This is the kind of place where there's permission for anybody at any time until exactly what you said, the rain washes away the greatness. So if this is something that you're not able to have access to until school's over for the day, because I do realize that not everybody is homeschooling or living the remote life full time, there will be a lot set up to, again, add on to, color inside of, or simply seek inspiration from.
That's great. Well, we've got a couple of photographers in town. Joe Brown, maybe we'll have to have him come out and take some photos of it. And Brian Richards always takes beautiful photographs and shares it with us as a community, and many, many others as well. Those two are just pretty routine at it. So hopefully we'll get lots of that. Thank you so much for sharing that program, Marissa, for nominating us and bringing this to Woburn. I'm super excited. And before we wrap up, I just wanted, Alex, to give you an opportunity to talk about what Crafternoons is in general.
Sure.
It sounds like a great program. And then I got one more question for Marissa.
Absolutely. So Crafternoons on Zoom is one of my flagship offerings. It is the most accessible program that I have at the moment. It happens virtually, and the reason for the platform wasn't just the pandemic, but I'm a traveler of the world. I have friends all over the place, family members in different cities, countries, and it was a place that all of us could meet and use household materials to get our craft on. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 4 o'clock to 5:30 Eastern, I have a different household craft every single day. And you can come in, get your craft on, meet some of my friends from the West Coast, from all over the mid states, and even some friends in our own neighborhoods that we might not have met otherwise. But it's a place that's always there if you need a pick-me-up and to keep your hands busy come afternoon time. So
I love it. What a great program. Thank you so much. So Marissa, I saw your daughter in the background who is she's bringing so much joy and excitement to this. I'm super excited. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are excited to do. Anything already in your head that you're going to work on, or anything that's particularly looking forward to in our adventure on May 27th?
Well, we are currently studying ancient Egypt. So my kids are very much into pyramids and mummies. We just mummified an apple, which I had never done before, and it was really cool. But really, I mean, my kids are just so excited to meet Miss Alex in person and to do art with her. I mean, that is a big thrill for them. But I just think this is going to be great. I think they're excited to feel like they're contributing to their community right now in a time where that's been very, very difficult. So where I am, this is going to be awesome.
I love it. One of my kids' favorite parts of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston was always the mummy room and the Egyptian exhibits. And they have these great scavenger hunts where, when the kids were younger, that you could sort of go on across different parts of the museum. And that was by far their favorite piece of it. So I don't blame them for being into it. I think we still had a Lego pyramid in our house left over from from one of those divots a few years ago. It's spray painted, I don't know, gold or sand or what they did with it, but lots of fun stuff. Thank you both for joining us. Super excited to have this art program. As always, Woburn, I hope you will continue to share your ideas and your information about what's spreading across the community, and always continue to take good care of each other.